So I'm going to do a video here for our new beekeepers. It's on Hive Inspection. It's time to be doing those, and so we're going to go through that and record keeping. When you go to do an inspection on your hive, you need to have a reason for doing the inspection. Now, the reason I go in a lot of my hives is because I want to go in my hive and see my bees. That's fine, but come up with a point. I am going to look for eggs. I'm going to try to find and identify my queen, so that you have something you're looking for specifically. It just helps so that you don't go through the whole thing and then say, well, what did I see? Well, I don't know what I saw. So we're looking for specific things. If you're keeping records, which I recommend you do, then you're having to fill in some of those questions, answer questions in your bee journal. So you're going to be looking at specific stuff. But when you come up to the colony, you want to inspect their entrance hole. You're looking for signs of robbing, like I showed on the short the other day. You want to see that bees are coming and going naturally. You want to see if they're bringing pollen in. Another great sign that your hive's being robbed is that none of the bees going in are bringing pollen. We can't see if they're bringing nectar or not, but they should be bringing pollen. That tells you you've got a healthy colony. There's one right there with pollen on. The other thing is, if they're not bringing pollen in, they may not have any brood. They may be queenless. Some will continue to stack pollen in, some will stop and just bring in nectar. So these are things you can see from the outside before you even start in. So get you set up here. The next is you're going to remove the lid. Get them a few puffs smoke, get them off the top of the bars so they're out of your way. So one of the first things we're going to see here is they've eaten a lot of their pollen patty up. We're going to need to get them another pollen patty on there. Some of them are eating them, some of them aren't. So that's one thing to notice. The next thing to notice is how many bees do we have? How many total frames of bees? Now, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 6 frames of bees here. I have bees out on these last two, but I don't believe that they're full of bees. I think they're working those, just moving into them. So that's something that goes into your notes, that you've got 6 frames of bees. So here, this frame's being drawn out. They're working on it. If they weren't starting to become crowded, they wouldn't be drawing on this frame. Now, there aren't as many bees actively drawing it as there were the last time I was in here. And I found problems in this colony, so I'm going in to see if I can find eggs. I found the queen last time, but no eggs. So she may be done. Or there may have been a big emergence and she just hadn't gotten back to lay anything where I saw it. So we're going to take a look for that. So you want to note what is in and on each frame. There we have one being drawn. This one I have a P written on the top because it has been a pollen frame, and it is still full of pollen here. I need pollen frames when I make splits, and they can be the hardest thing to find a really good pollen frame. So I like to mark them on top. Now we've got some openings here in the middle. I'm going to see if we've got any eggs in there, if everybody will get out of my way. And I don't see anything in that little space in the middle. But I've got capped honey on the back of that. So I've got one honey and pollen frame to put in my records. This one's light. I've got capped brood on some of it and open brood on some of it. Again, I'm searching for eggs because there weren't any last time. Go on, girls, get out of the way. And I'm still not seeing any. There should be eggs laid around this open brood. But the queen I found last time was all the way over on the other side of the box. So if she started laying this way, then she may not have made it here yet. So after I look for the queen and I don't see her, I want to get the bees off there because I want to see if there's any eggs. There's one egg, two eggs. All right, we've got a few eggs, but they're random. They're not in a good pattern. So I want to note that. I'm not condemning the queen over that yet. But it's something I need to pay attention to. If my queen is beginning to fail, she thinks she's laying eggs and she's not, or she laid eggs in there that aren't fertilized, even though she thinks she's fertilizing them. And she doesn't, the bees don't leave them in there, they take it out. So this is a marked queen in here. I should be able to find her fairly easily. And I'll tell you, I've just started using a little pin light, and it really helps. The sun is in the wrong position right now for me to just pick them up and look at it. I have to turn around with them to see. And then if the clouds go over the sun, then I can't see either. So the pin light is helping. Again, I'm not seeing what I should be seeing in here, which should be a lot of eggs. She was laying like crazy earlier, but now she's not. I do have some brood emerging. So another thing you want to put on your records is how many frames of brood, how many frames are capped, how many frames of eggs, how many frames of larvae. Keep note of that so you can tell if it's going uphill or downhill. Otherwise you don't remember what was last time. There's our queen right here. She looks good. So another note that you need to take, the inspection of the queen. You know, she's still full size. She isn't shrunken. She's moving around doing her thing. She has bees attending her. Normally the bees will know that there's something wrong with her and they'll try superseding her. But I'm not finding the eggs I should be finding. There's a few. All right, she's got this laid up a little better. That way. But not like she should. There's a lot of empty cells. I had noted before some spotty brood pattern, which isn't always her fault, which is another reason to do notation. Here's some spotty brood. So sometimes that's her fault. She's not fertilizing the eggs, or there's something wrong with them. They're pulling them out. Sometimes the worker bees put pollen and nectar out in the middle of the frame. And then when she came to lay in it, she couldn't lay everywhere. Then they consume that as they feed the larva, and then the cell becomes open, so then she comes back and lays it. So they're at different ages. So that can be the reason for spotty brood. Here I've got more spotty brood and not much for eggs. So I'm just not happy with what this girl's doing at all. Another capped brood, but again, it's really spotty. And if she had it completely laid up with eggs in all the openings, then she's still trying, she's doing it. But here she's not laying it up. I'm not finding drones in the worker cells, but she's not laying near enough pattern. So she's gonna end up getting replaced. But in the inspection, you want to note the health of the bees. Look at them. Are you seeing young bees coming out? They're still working. Are you seeing any deformed wing virus? So you're taking a note on that. Are they actively moving around and doing what they're supposed to be doing? Or are they lethargic and hanging out and doing nothing? Those are things that need to be recorded. How many honey frames did you have? How many pollen frames? You're going to look for pests, ants, which normally you'll see when you first pull the lid off. If there's ants, are they out of control? Are there earwigs in there? Wax moth, mice? Those are, things that you're going to need to take care of if they're there, if they're to that level. So you want to look for queen cells as you're going through there. That tells you they either don't like their queen or they're getting ready to swarm, which is surprising here where she's obviously failing, that they're not trying to make a new queen. Usually they'll do that. So any other concerns or notes that you want to put on here, like the pollen patty, that I'm going to need another one. I want to note that so that I can be sure I have one with me the next time I get over here. If it's something like we're finding here, this hive is going to need inspected again in a couple of days to see, did she kick back in? Is she laying? Is she still laying poorly? I may not give her that long. I may just take her out and make a split here, because I need a couple of splits for some queens. So anyway, that's your hive inspection. The things you're looking for, you want to make sure your brood, your open brood, your milk brood looks healthy. It's white. It's not brown. Your cap brood, you don't have sunken caps. It's a sign of disease. So that'll get you new beekeepers something to start on. You won't catch all of it the first time through, but it'll get you shot. I'm going to do a varroa test again here real quickly. Get that out, because you need to be checking for that. And there's your hive inspection. So get out there and do them, and we'll catch you guys next time.